Thank you very much. I have to say, when I came here, I didn't really know what to expect. And it really takes me back because I started playing music when I was 14 years old. I'm now 45. And I have to say that any success I've had in my life is because of the school I went to. And the reason was that we had a music department, which was quite unusual when I was younger. But we had a music department like yourself with drums and bass and electric guitar, synthesizers. And it wasn't only classical instruments, it wasn't only violin and cello and recorder. We also had the rock and roll instruments. And basically, we would perform concerts at school 2 times a year. And the children from the school, myself included, would have our bands. And there was maybe 6 or 7 different bands in our school. Some doing punk rock, some doing new romantic, some doing blues, jazz, whatever, you know. And I was in maybe 2 or 3 different bands at the time. And when I sang for the first time, it was very similar to this. It for me was, it's like I saw the light, you know. It was like I realized what I want to do with my life. And if it had not been for the school I was in, if it had not been for the attitude of the rector of the school, I went to Dumfries Academy, was my school. If it hadn't been for the attitude, I wouldn't quite simply have found my path in life. And I think to be able to do something with your life that you love, that you have passion for, is a blessing. It's a wonderful thing. And if you're lucky enough to be able to do that with your life, then you should never forget how lucky you are, because most people can't do what they're passionate about. So if you have a dream, you know, you're here, obviously, you have a good school, you have intelligence, you have an opportunity to learn, which, to be honest, I was never very good when it came to school, because I was more interested in rock and roll, and I wasn't really very interested in school. And now, I regret that a lot. You know, I always wished I had spent more time studying more about history, studying more about the English language, foreign languages and so on, but I was so focused on music that nothing else mattered to me in my life. And on the one hand, that's a good thing, because it meant I've been able to be successful in something I truly love. On the other hand, when I'm writing songs, sometimes I wish I had more knowledge in more areas of life, to have more things to say, to have more to write about. So I think it maybe sounds kind of boring with an old guy like me telling you to take your education seriously, but for me, it's the single most important thing in your life. And as I say, if you're lucky enough to follow your dream, whether you're being a dancer, a singer, a lawyer, a doctor, whatever it is you decide, then you will never regret your education. I can promise you that much. Over the years, my life has been, you know, I grew up in quite a poor family. We didn't have money really, and I didn't go to a school where you had to pay to go. My parents couldn't afford that, but I was lucky enough to go to a good school because I was intelligent enough to be able to go, and that was just because of my mum and dad, really. And through my life, I've had extreme highs and extreme lows. You know, my career has been like this. And I learned more in my life from the bad times when things were going wrong than I ever learned from the good times, that's for sure. And I think it's important to remember, if you're trying to achieve something with your life, try and focus that the fun isn't actually only about the achievement, it's about the journey towards the achievement. You know, you can fall into the trap of wishing your life away, always wishing that everything was here now and that you had what you want right now. But I've found in my life it's important not to be that way and to actually enjoy the journey towards reaching the next goal, the next bit of success in my life. And it was a very important journey for me. And it's also important to remember, again, this is through my own experience, that we all, in life, every now and again, you get an opportunity to do something, whether you have an audition to join a band, or whether you have an audition to join a dance theatre, like my girlfriend, who is a professional dancer. Your opportunity comes at some stage. The important thing is that you're ready for it when it happens. It's the work that you do when nothing is happening, when you feel that all you're doing is trying and working and nothing is happening. It's the work you do then that prepares you for being ready when the opportunity for your life comes to you. That's my own personal experience, and I think it's certainly worth sharing with you. So, before I play another song, does anyone have a question they would like to ask about music, about art, about dance, whatever? Yes, young man.
How did you explain yourself to make that much music?
What was the first? How did I?
So how did you explain yourself to make so much music?
Express myself. I think I guess you know, for me, I always like to write about life, about people, about real emotions. You know, I'm not one that reads the history books and writes about something that happened 300 years ago. I like to write about life, about love, about anger, about kindness, about hate, about the elements of life, if you like. And I always express myself, I try to express myself in a very, if you like, basic way. I like to sing about basic things that matter to me emotionally. And that's how I try to express myself. Yes? I'm from a little town in Scotland called Dumfries. It is, has about 40,000 people there. And its most famous person really was Robert Burns, who was a poet. And you may know the song Auld Lang Syne, which is should all acquaintance be forgotten, never brought. That's Robert Burns. So that's where I was born, in a very, very small town in the south of Scotland. Yeah. How long? Could you repeat?
How you thought you made music?
Forever.
And I think the question might have been, how old were you when you started?
When I started,
playing?
my first memory was I had quite a big family. You know, a lot of aunts and uncles. My mum had 2 sisters and 4 brothers, and there were many musical people in my family. And at Christmas time, when I was young, we would meet at my grandparents' house, and I remember standing with a microphone like this in front of the Christmas tree, singing Bohemian Rhapsody, which is a song from Queen, to my family. And that was the first time I sang. I think I was maybe 8 years old, something like that. And I stood there, I don't know if I had a microphone, probably not. And I sang Bohemian Rhapsody. So that was my first ever performance. And I don't think I've ever been more nervous in all my life than singing to my family. Even if I'm singing in front of thousands of people, I was more nervous singing to my family than I've ever been since. So that's when I started. Yes, Dan?
How do you feel when you come up with a song?
It's a good question, and it's an important question, you know. For me, I was telling you before about the importance of enjoying the journey of life and not always focusing on the achievement, but the journey as well. And a song for me, the most fun in music is performing like this, or if you create something and it's finished and you go, wow, I've created this song. And then, you know, it's such a personal experience and so precious an experience. And then, of course, when the song goes out to the world, or when other people hear the song, it's like no longer your song, it's gone, you know, it belongs to everybody else. Some people will say, oh, that's a terrible song. Some people will say, oh, that's a really nice song, but it's gone, you know. So it's very important for me to enjoy just the process of creating the song. It's one of the most special aspects of music, is just creating. And if you're creating something, don't listen to what other people say. Don't care about what other people say. Do what's in your heart, create what you feel. What other people think is their thing, you know. Be true to yourself. That's, I think, an important thing for any artist to do, to be true to yourself. Hello, man. I think if you believe in God, then it's because I felt it. You know, really. I felt that emotionally it just felt right to me, you know, basically. So I guess whether it's your spirit telling you or God telling you or whatever you feel, that's how I do. Yeah.
What is Genesis for you?
Money. To be honest, you know, Genesis, when I started singing with Genesis, they were one of the biggest bands in the world. And they sold something like 130 million albums or something. This, you know, unbelievable amounts of records. And you would think that that's my best achievement, my most important time, but to be honest, it isn't. My most important, even before Genesis, I had a band called Stiltskin. We had a #1 single in Britain and a #1 single all across Europe. And that wasn't the most important time either. For me, the most important time is when I started my own career after Genesis and after Stiltskin, when I started to do it for myself, and I had my own challenges to think about. That was the most important time. Yes, you can. Which song? What is my favourite song? That's difficult, you know, there's many good songs. Might take me time to answer that. Which song? I tend to, if I'm performing a song from someone else, then the lyrics of the song, the words of the song are important. And in my experience of singing songs from other artists, I think the American singer-songwriter Bob Dylan wrote the most powerful words, I think, among the most powerful words of any artist. Bob Dylan is a very old man now, but he's written some wonderful songs. And I was lucky enough to perform a concert with him 25, oh no, how long would it have been? 14 years ago, so it was really quite magical. But a singer-songwriter called Bob Dylan, I think, would be the guy with the songs.
What was your first song?
First song I wrote, or the first song I bought?
First song you wrote.
I remember myself and my brother wrote a song. It was called in London Long Ago or something. It was a terrible song. Absolutely terrible. And I didn't play guitar then. I think I just had a little Bon Tempi organ, this little tiny little keyboard. And it went something like, in London long ago, where the tourists usually go. I can't remember the words. It was terrible. But that was my first song. It was a classic. How much do I love music? For me, I am music, you know. It's my whole life. If I didn't have music, I have no idea what I would do. It really is the most important thing in my life. Yes, ma'am. Different musicians? Yeah, I've worked with lots of musicians over the years. I have, in my band, I have drums, bass, guitar. I have 2 lead guitars, piano player, classical piano player. I have 2 violin players, viola player, cello player, and I have one guy who plays saxophone, flute, clarinet, and we have 5 singers. So, lots of musicians in the band.
Yes,